So how do we navigate that? Where can we source these books at a lower cost or even for free? How can we get around this hidden cost in university? Hi everybody and welcome back to Miss Angler's biology class. I am Miss Angler, and as promised, I'm going to delve a lot more into the ins and outs of university, things that you maybe didn't know about university. And today I want to specifically delve into a hidden cost, something that I think we overlook, we don't realize is a huge amount of money that you're going to have to find, and that's textbooks. Now, I know that you've just got into university, you've got your acceptance letter, it's so exciting. You have perhaps a bursary that covers your tuition, which means the teaching of you, or you're self-funding that, your parents are covering that cost, and you think, right, I've covered the big cost, that's done, I'm in. And then you go to orientation and you get all of your acceptance letter goodies, and they send you a list of all the things that you need. And you see this super long list of textbooks that you're going to need. And it's incredibly overwhelming because university textbooks are not priced like high school textbooks. A lot of high schools have textbooks provided to them by the government if you're a government school. And even if you have to purchase textbooks for high school, I'm guessing the average high school textbook ranged somewhere between 200-300 Rand, maybe even up to 500-600 Rand. The thing is, university textbooks are not that cheap. Quite frankly, they are one of the most expensive pieces of equipment that you're going to have. They're not optional in any sense. And when you have books in university, textbooks that range anywhere, they can be maybe 800 Rand and range brand new all the way up in some courses and degrees to 8,000, and in some extreme cases 12 and 15,000 Rand for one book. It's going to be a lot of money. So how do we navigate that? Where can we source these books at a lower cost or even for free? How can we get around this hidden cost in university? I'm going to give you some tips and tricks of things that you can look out for and you can research and go and have a look yourself as you start this journey in university. Now, how does it exactly work in university with your textbooks? So textbooks are quite a tricky individual degree by degree thing, but essentially, they are obviously your coursework, they are your source of reference, they are what you will study from. And different degrees require you to have, obviously, different textbooks. And they rely on their relative textbooks in different ways. So, for example, some degrees you'll buy one textbook for your major subject, and it will kind of run through the full 3 or 4 years of your degree. And that's a great investment. Other courses are going to require you to have a new textbook bought for every year. So like as you progress, you need to get the higher level of that textbook. And then of course, if you go into different modules in different degrees, for example, psychology, you're going to get different kinds of psychology. You can get like childhood developmental psychology textbooks. You get abnormal psychology textbooks. And so you're going to need different textbooks for different subjects and also modules. So they're not all the same thing. Now that's going to create a massive monetary output if you think about it, considering that the average textbook price ranges anywhere from 800 Rand to around 3,000 to 5,000 Rand for a university level textbook. And you're going to need 4 or 5 of these every year. So the first way you're going to navigate through this is you're going to obviously receive a list of all your prescribed textbooks that you're going to need. And what you need to do is you need to find out how many of them are actually compulsory, and you actually do get what we call optional textbooks where the lecturer suggests that you have access to them, but they don't require you to have them. If they are optional books, I would look into potentially being able to take them out of the library when you need them. Keeping in mind that I'm going to do a whole series on this as well about how it works when you take books out of the library in the university as well, because I think people assume it's the same as how you always take a book out of the library, but there's a lot of actually rules on certain books and how long you can have them for. Some books you can't even take out of the library, you have to read them in the library, but I'll touch on that in another video. So your first point of call could be that you could go into the library and you could temporarily take them out as you need them, your optional books. Speaking of the library, there are universities that offer a long-term library book rental. What that means is you can go into the library at your university and you can find out whether these very expensive textbooks can be rented for the year. And so you can go in and you basically check the book out the whole year, or sometimes it's for the whole semester, and that book now is in your account. Of course, if you don't return it or it's damaged, you are responsible for the cost of that book and replacing that book. But it's one quick, easy, and quite frankly, free way that you can access the textbooks you need. Now, you do need to act quickly because they don't have a textbook for every single student. So what you're going to need to do is you need to be one of the first few that get there so that you can take your textbook out and that you can have it while you need it. Now, the second way we're going to source textbooks is through the secondhand market. Now, there are so many different online options. There's online textbook trade, there is Quillio. They all are forms of textbook secondhand selling. It's also a great opportunity for students who own their textbooks to also sell the textbook, generate income from that, and then use that money to buy another textbook for the following year. Because when you do get to your final year, you will have amassed quite a number of books that maybe you don't need anymore and that you want to get rid of, and that it's a lovely way to kind of pass it on to the next incoming group, especially if you take care of your books. Now, the secondhand book income space is huge, and the difference in price is massive. For example, for me, this textbook over here is one of the compulsory biology textbooks that I needed going into first year university. Now, as you can see, if you buy it brand new, it ranges around 3,000 Rand. But if you want to buy this secondhand, you can get it for around 1,000 Rand. Again, it is an investment book because this was a book that I used for multiple years. So you kind of have to divide it over the years that you're studying and that you're going to use it. So I think you should look into secondhand books as a way in which you can access cheaper level textbooks, especially the books that you're going to use for many years, not just kind of for a semester. The third way that you can access books on your campus is digital or e-books. And so basically what they are is your book is just literally digital. So you will get like an e-reader, it's an app, and basically you access your textbook and you page on your tablet, on your phone, on your laptop, on the textbook digitally. It obviously does require you to have a device to do this, so that's kind of like a barrier of access that maybe you need to navigate through, but it does make it so much cheaper because you are not having to have the book printed, so therefore you're not paying for the cost of the printing of the book, and at the same time you are also renting this book, so you're not purchasing it in the sense that you own it, which also makes it even cheaper. And so that when you're done with it, you don't need to have this like stack of books that you're not really sure what you want to do with. You only rent it for as long as you need them. And there are lots of websites, depending on the various universities you go to, they will give you a list of places where you can hire and you can rent your digital textbooks if you prefer. Now, last but not least, this particular option is a cautious one I want to suggest to you, which is kind of sharing the load amongst your friends. The thing is, if you decide to buy textbooks, in a group of people. The problem comes in that you will all need those books at the same time when preparing for exams. Now, if you plan to be like living in the same res or in the same hostel, and you plan on spending huge amounts of time studying with each other, and that you know that when exam season comes around, you'll be able to meet as a group and work with that book and be very kind of like a cohesive, well-oiled machine, then I think that is a good option as well. Taking the expense of your textbooks and sharing it amongst each other and saying, we're going to have a copy of each of these books. They're going to be in an accessible place to all of us. And when we're done with these books, we're always going to bring them back to a central point so that we can all access them. And when exam time comes around, we're going to make sure that we're not hogging these books. It still makes it quite tricky though, because there are going to be moments where someone is going to probably take a book, take it home, and then it's the night before, let's say, your physiology 101 exam, and they're sitting with the only copy of the book, and the rest of your friends don't have the copy, and they want to see it and they want to study from it. So I think it's a tricky space to navigate. But it's doable as long as there's a lot of like firm ground rules around this. I wouldn't do this with people you don't know very well. I wouldn't do this with people you've just started living with either. Now, if you enjoyed this informative video about, the hidden cost of textbooks, and you want to learn more about university and how you're going to navigate your first year in university, as well as what happens in the long term, like now you're in your final year, what should I expect? Then you should follow me here at Miss Angler. I'm going to be posting a huge array of content. I've always posted for life sciences in grade 10 to 12 biology, but I'm also going to be moving into this space as well and helping you navigate from your high school journey into your university journey. So make sure you are subscribed with your notifications turned on, because I post Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I will see you all again soon. Bye.